Hey, what's up?
What's
What
up?
up, crew? Welcome to another edition of the Birds of a Feather, the co-ed edition with your girl AJ, the Suburban Princess here, and my co-ed Eddie B. What's up?
What's up, AJ? It's been a minute. We both been busy.
We've both been busy. We've been outside. We've been on last minute vacation. Well, probably not last minute vacation for you because I know you had plans,
Yeah.
but for me, it was a last
Well, it
minute trip to
wasn't.
Canada.
Oh, that was cool though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Where were you at?
well, I was in Memphis. Got to see my buddy Mikey, Chief Petty Officer Michael Lonesome, entire retired from the Navy. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your
So,
service, Michael, Mr. Lonesome. And I honestly am very happy to see that, and especially now that we're coming on Veterans Day weekend.
mm,
So that's good to know that we have another retired military veteran on our in our friend circle. I haven't seen him obviously since 96, 97. I don't even know if he remembers who I am, but
he remembers you, sure.
I loved singing with him when we used to have those little jam sessions in our
Well,
that this
he's
is
gonna
you arts
try and get
history.
he's gonna try and get to Philly soon. He said so. When he does, you got to come out.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope it's one of those things we can find a karaoke spot because I loved when he sang.
Oh God, I'm gonna be in the back cracking up. Y'all can do that shit all
It's
y'all want.
fine. It's fine. We could be Ebony and Ivory, just the black version. Anyway, but yes, welcome, kids. Eddie and I went to UArts. Eddie graduated, I didn't, so that was our little memory down the lane with our fellow friend Michael. So, shout out to Mike. Um, we are going to discuss a lot of stuff because basically a lot of stuff happened while we was outside. But then obviously the biggest thing we want to discuss right now is getting over the hump of the latest lost championships that were the World Series and the MLS Cup. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I can enter that snap. We can enter taps in right now.
I still love them though. They did their
I
thing.
mean, honestly, again, we will go back to what we said before. We are happy that they even got that freaking far. They literally were 2 games away from probably getting the whole thing done. And so,
Well,
you know,
if this doesn't show them what they need to do in the off season, I mean, I don't know what will
then they're
because
yeah,
I
they're
mean
not getting it. Yeah,
because
front
I mean
office needs to react.
they need. I mean, look, the front office they put together a solid team. It just needed more. Just need a
We
little
need
bit
to
more.
tweak. Yeah, we just need to
Yeah.
tweak. And honestly, that's good to know if you only need a couple players here and there. Just like Bryce said in his last presser, they just need some more pieces. And honestly, at this point, if we all know that some familiar faces gotta go, they gotta go. They
Yeah.
already
I mean,
picked up Nola's option. So
unfortunately, our boy Gene is gone. So
Gene's gone. I think he still could come back though if he doesn't get
if they don't, yeah, if he doesn't get picked up,
if he
but
doesn't get picked up, he may come back and just be on a cheaper deal, but he has to. I feel like Booty is one of them guys. He won't take a lower.
yeah,
He
but
won't take less
I think they're
money.
gonna. I think they may shoot for Trey Turner.
They
So
should because Bryce. Look, Bryce is pulling all the tricks now. He's like, I want all my boys that I want on this team while I'm still here for another 50, 11 years on that
well,
contract.
he said Dombrowski's our guy. And you know what? Dombrowski went out and he finally, well, for the first time, actually spent money and went over luxury tax. So I mean,
well,
I for the first time in how long? Yeah, this
well, that's
team
why I
is
say it's worth it. The ends justify the means. If they have to get rid of familiar faces that are currently still on the roster, so be it. You were just gonna have to eat that because there's a lot of guys that can go. Reese, I love you, but you got to go, buddy. I think it's time.
well, unless he somebody he learns how to field in the off season because
And he
oh
may
my
not be
god,
that guy. Maybe that's just not his spot. Maybe he
yeah,
just
just
shouldn't do first base.
so many fielding mistakes.
So
You
many
know,
costly errors, so many costly brain farts that really lost them momentum in certain series. But in general, like honestly, with Houston Astros, they played as hard as they could. And I think at some point they scared the Astros. So that was good to know that they kept the
hmm
Astros on their heels, even if they didn't hit hardly in that last game or so. But honestly, it was the most exciting, sleepless last 2 weeks we've had watching championships.
oh my god,
Obviously, the
yeah.
Union, I missed it because I was in Canada and I
Oh
was
my god, AJ.
oppressed from what I saw. But Eddie texted me and I was
They
like
couldn't hold off for
behind.
2 minutes. I'm like, no, just
I
needed
couldn't
two
even
more
I couldn't even
minutes.
partake in with you because I couldn't even
Uh,
watch anything. Like I was at an Airbnb that I didn't want to sign in on my account because I didn't know how it was going to be billed. So I was like, Eddie's just gonna have to suffer with this without me because I don't know what's going on. I just know
when
they
they
said that they lost, and I was like, oh crap.
yeah, when it came down
So
to 2 minutes, I'm like, they had 2 minutes. They couldn't hold them off.
yeah. Well, penalty is never a great way to lose a game, especially when you're both 3-3. Like
But a
that's some
penalty kick,
bullshit.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I hate that. I mean, it's no different from like power plays and hockey. Like I had the Flyers on after I was finished working out with the girls online, and I saw that the Flyers won, so they did a pretty good game. But I was just happy to see TK score because hadn't seen TK score in a while, so that
Them
was good for
Flyers,
Flyers.
they destroyed the was St. Louis last night.
Yeah, they straight St. Louis, and I think they actually played the Toronto Maple Leafs pretty good, but they lost that game. But I thought they had a pretty good. So I don't know
Yeah.
if whatever's changing there, but the point is we had to say goodbye to the nice sleepless weeks that we had of anticipating a huge
Hey,
parade and a huge amount of people all over Philly.
it was nice to have some October baseball. You know, like,
It was definitely fun and it ran into Red November, but honestly, at this point, we know where we're at right now mentally. At least some of us are, because some people are still upset. I'm over it. I've kind of moved on. I'm ready to see the Eagles, but we got to wait till next Monday. And tomorrow's Thursday, so we're almost there, especially with the holiday.
mm-hmm.
But I'm antsy for some more Eagles football talk. As you see, I got my Hertz Brown 22 sweatshirt on. Thank you. I think it's called Athlete Studio. They're doing a lot of these random prints.
They have my vote.
Yes. We wish you guys were running because I'll tell you something. Philly Congress could definitely use some guys that are fun like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. But so Eddie, tell me what are your hopes for this next series of games for the Eagles as far as obviously we're going to have hopefully a lot more success continuing because they don't have a lot of competition coming up right now except for
I mean,
a couple
yeah. I mean,
games.
the crazy thing is, I thought maybe Green Bay was going to be a problem, but I don't
Yeah,
think they're
now I'm
going to
not
be a.
scared. Not scared of
Uh,
Aaron.
the way they've been playing week to week, I'm like, oh. One thing
Yeah.
I am hoping though, that they get mad and they beat up on the Cowboys this week.
How about it? I would like to
That'd
see
be nice
Aaron
to
just
see.
yeah, just turn it on
Aaron
just
just
for
get
us.
pissed off and like,
Lasso them bitches.
and then come back to reality the week after. You know.
Right, right, right. All the energy it took them to get on the same page, versus the Cowboys, and then they come and lay an egg with the Eagles. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
they too. I think Aaron Rodgers is fighting his own war. I don't think that team is on the same page, which is a shame because they've also had a lot of injuries. I have no idea why he let Devontae Adams walk out, but that was stupid.
You know what? I don't understand why they. I mean, they're not have, their wide receivers are okay, but what I don't understand is they don't run the ball enough.
Especially with Aaron Jones, and now he's hurt, but they say
They
he's
got
still
Jones
practicing.
and Dillon, two of the
Right.
best freaking running backs, and you don't run the ball.
They don't. There's definitely some kind of similarly compared to what is going on in Arizona with kind of this beef with the quarterback versus the coach, because I think there's a coaching
Yeah,
struggle in Arizona. That's why they've been not as consistent lately. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. And injuries are not. Arizona should not be as bad as they are this year after they pretty much were in the playoffs last year up until
yeah.
the last 5 games, and then
And
they
you
kicked
know what? Let
themselves
all
out.
these teams can't keep the house in order. That's their fault. And nothing to do with that. So
No,
you
and that's
know,
the thing. That's why it's great to see the Eagles be 8-0. But eventually a loss is coming. We just want to figure out
yeah. But
when it's going to happen. Yeah,
same time, you don't see that. You don't see that dishevelment and or anything in their houses. Like their houses are in order.
which
I
is a
mean,
first for us since the Super Bowl year
like
because
the coach, you know, they're playing like a family right now. They love each other. They
Lori's staying in his place. He's not trying to be out
yeah.
there
I love
all
the
up,
fact you don't even
all
see
up
him
in the
that much.
videos.
Yeah, you don't see him. I'm great. Stay in the background. Stay
Stay in the
right where
background.
you
Learn
are.
from Jim Irsay, embarrassing his organization with the Colts. Learn
Yeah,
from all these dudes that are just talking out their butts, not caring about their whole brand. But that's what the Eagles are doing correctly now for once. Howie's
yeah.
looking like a genius once again. Um, and I think at this point we should be relishing in the fact that there's not a lot of drama except for whatever the hell happened to Jordan Mailata lately since the last game because he's not been
It was
playing
in-
very
well,
consistent.
it was injury. He does not look.
Yeah, it's his shoulder. I think it's his shoulder.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think
think
it's
he's
100
been injured.
percent yet.
He's definitely not because it just seemed like he just let people walk past him in that last game, and I don't think that's normal for him,
Yeah,
especially because he's come this far. Um, I'm never probably gonna say a bad word about Jordan Mailata.
I
He's
think
such
he'll pick it up.
yeah, he's such an inspiration, and maybe this, as long as it seems like for fans to wait for the next game, it's probably doing him wonders to not be stressing his body
Hmm.
while they're on this brief break. But let's just talk about Jalen knocking down that fourth wall mentally that I think a lot of
Oh
people
man,
thought he was going to be stuck at. I think there can't be enough praise put out for him on social media at this point, and he's just getting started. People have to realize the kid is 23. And the fact
Yeah,
that he's starting to just now click after his second or third year,
it's that poise. I mean, he has it. I mean,
that calm, you know, and
like look at Josh Allen. Him and Josh Allen did the same thing. I mean, Josh Allen was like he came out. You were like, oh, is he gonna make it?
yeah.
And then all of a
Now
sudden,
Josh is hurt. Now Josh got that
yeah,
injury. I think that Bryce Harper has at UCL.
yeah,
He's saying so, and he throws hard, so I'm sure that's going to affect how he's going to perform until because you have to do like I don't know what you can do about that, right? You have to wear a brace or something because it's
yeah. I
something.
don't know if he can get any surgery for that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I don't know if
Cause
that because if Bryce just had rehab and still played, he just didn't throw
yeah,
in the outfield.
but the thing is, he's a quarterback. He
He's a
how's he
quarterback. That's
gonna?
what he does. I know, so it's going to
Yeah,
affect him. They're gonna be using their running backs a lot. Obviously, Singletary's a good player on the Buffalo Bills, and they're just gonna have to find a short yardage for Diggs because Diggs is pretty much his number one guy.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so I mean, I think at this point we have to say that having Jalen go through this, what we believe from the door that he could do that other people didn't, and still probably don't because they just not his favorite. I think
yeah.
at this point we should be thankful that the Eagles have a dramaless season ahead of them.
hmm Yeah,
Um,
and I'm loving how he's showing us that he can win in different scenarios,
right.
in different ways. He's not just winning the same way every week. You know, he's coming out and say, okay, well, I got to do it this way this week. You know,
And the
he's take
adjustments is important.
yeah, he's taking what they're giving him and he's exploiting everything that they're doing. So
And that's hard because at first that's all we had to suffer through last year was watching them just kind of just fall like dominoes when they had opposition. And I
yeah,
think obviously the growth that's happening with all the guys on both sides of the ball is that they can suck the whole first half and then come back
hmm
and own the whole second half. We were saying in other pods, especially myself, I was saying I don't like the fact that they still felt like they couldn't score in the
yeah, they
second
kind of
half.
they kind
But
of did that. Yeah,
they're slowly starting to understand why that's slowly not becoming an issue. But
yeah,
yeah, they're going to have teams that are going to play them different every game. And I think with the patience we have to have is realizing that, okay, we've seen how they play against this team. Let's see how they play against the Packers.
hmm
Like I said, I think that was going to be the only team besides if they played. Did they play Buffalo? I always forget if they play Buffalo this year. I don't think they do. But I mean, between them and like, I don't know
it's,
why I thought the Texans were going to be something, but clearly they weren't.
well, I thought it smelled like a trap game for a minute.
It did, and they did expose the run defense, but who hasn't this year? They have struggled on the run defense issue,
Well,
especially with Jordan being
uh,
hurt.
yeah, well,
Jordan and
hopefully
Milana being
Jordan,
hurt are important.
hopefully, Big Baby Davis will be back
Yeah, big baby, we
be
need
back
you.
for when they play the Titans because Derrick Henry.
There
I
we go.
mean,
Titans. I knew that was another game. That was another game.
he's a load. We need somebody in that middle to stuff that up.
Yeah, because when he goes through, he's just like literally like a iron, hot iron, just coming at you hard.
Yeah.
And I do worry about that because I don't think other than him and well, we got their big piece, so they're gonna be salty knowing that AJ's just probably gonna get the ball
Oh
the
well,
whole
they
night.
don't. They have no fucking wide receivers. So
They don't, and that's did you see his post where
yeah,
he said he put the post that he goes, I guess they not open.
yeah, right.
He basically saying none of them guys got open. He's trying to say like a
Nope.
play on his display name.
Hey,
One
you
K
know what?
always open.
Hey, if Wesley has a field, hey, if Wesley goes off for 2 touchdowns and
It's
100
a
and
wrap.
something yards, I'm talking about Henry. We'll still be okay if we just have to contain everybody else.
I mean, honestly, the reality is if you know that you lack in issues of run defense, because I know that was one player analyst saying that that was the one thing that was going to expose the Eagles this half is that the run defense is the issue. You're gonna have to let the other team score at some point because that's how you learn how to stop them the next series. So I'm realizing now if they do let the team score early, that doesn't mean the whole team is gonna
It
collapse. It
happens.
just means
It happens a
now
lot too.
it does. And that's why I say
That
I think
team
it's their way of kind of figuring out, all right, that's how they came at us this time.
team gets
So
one
let's just
touchdown in
get
the
it
first,
together.
and
Yeah. And then they never score again.
they
It's
never
just
see the
field
end zone
goals.
again after that. Yeah.
Right. So I think at this point now, being that it's almost holiday season, this is the time that we always have to kind of just like be patient because it's going to take a while for us to get used to how comfortable this team has been. But we also have to realize that this is usually the nervous part of the season too, because this is when everybody starts getting hurt, or usually there's other teams that start picking up steam that were sucking most of the year, and they
hmm
start like stealing little victory games here and there because they just decide, oh, I'm just going to play good just for this week,
Yeah.
So we got to be careful of that because obviously, like you said, Texans game wasn't a trap game. It just the only thing they scared them was just a couple of runs they couldn't hold, and that was it because that their running back was just running.
Oh
threw them
yeah,
like
that
Swiss
kid was all
cheese
over the place. Yeah,
all over the place. But then so was Dallas's special teams dude. I mean, you let that dude take off.
yeah.
On special teams. That's
Oh
something that they
god, yeah.
definitely need to look at because they've been exposed on special teams on the Eagle side. So, but going back to revitalizing now that we have to kind of shift our focus to the Sixers again because they are now 5-6. They're playing tonight in Atlanta. I think in Atlanta. I know they're playing the Hawks, but I don't
Yeah, I
know if they're
want to
in Atlanta or they're home. But either way,
because they
the
were
point is
just
they're
home,
five
so
and
I don't
six.
know if they. Yeah, they were just home the other night. So.
Right, yeah, and I think they might be in Atlanta, but either way, the point is they're 5-6, which means they're finally sick of losing games in a row. So Joel is
Mm-hmm.
back from his 50 11 days of flu. We got Harden out with a bum foot, and then he said they had personal matters, so he got something going on at home.
Yeah,
And
he'll
then
be back though. He looks
yeah,
good.
he will.
He looks good this year. So
No, he was fine. It was the issue. We can't get everybody obviously on the court at the same time, but I
yeah,
mean, whatever. It's basketball. They know a
and
lot of the times
Maxi.
in
I
the
mean,
season.
Maxi has been lighting it up. So
Maxi's taken over. What is his name? Melton. Melton's been
and Melton, yeah, Anthony Melton,
he's
yeah,
been doing good for us. Shake's getting out there too now. I don't know if
yeah.
he's scoring
I
well, but I know
almost didn't recognize Shake last time he was up
yeah,
there
because he got a fro and
because
he gained some weight.
he's got a fro now. I'm like,
He got a
where'd that
fro
come
and he
from?
gained some weight. So now Shake is literally like Inshore.
I'm looking.
We
I'm
gotta
like,
call
is that?
Inshore Shake.
I was like, is that Shake? I was like, oh
He's a
shit, yeah, that's
protein
Shake.
shake now. Let's call him protein shake.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, he's out there now, and then obviously Matisse every now and then.
and Harzel,
Who?
Harzel, Hartnell,
Oh, that's right.
Hartnell,
Yeah, Hart. Yeah, I forget how to
Hartnell,
pronounce his name.
Hartnell,
Montrell's something.
Montreal Hartnell. Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's
good.
out there still. And then who's the other person? Oh, hello. Niang is coming back with his threes and
And
slimmed down a little bit.
Tobias is solid
Tobias,
still.
hello.
He's
Tobias
still
is
playing
just silent
solid.
and happy.
He's playing.
Silent, happy, and married.
Yeah, he's playing a solid game too. He's playing.
He's been a very solid, quiet force,
Yeah.
which I like because he's not one to be all up in your face. But
Hmm.
I think there were moments of stagnation going on with him last year, even before the playoffs. And I think this year, I think his approach is going to be like, stop pressing. I got plenty of help. I don't
Hmm.
think he has to press. And like I said, Maxi's just got to figure out how he can do this point guard thing. I didn't realize when they showed the positions of each player before a game, I didn't realize we had 3 forwards
Hmm.
on the roster. So I'm wondering if that also contributes to the fact that sometimes they are unhinged because they're used to doing certain duties that they don't normally have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I like when they run small sometimes. They're fast when they run small.
I mean, they have no choice when Embiid wasn't there. They had to do small ball.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that myself, and I know I'm late, so shut up, Sixers fans. But I'm just one of those people who looked at the graphic one night and I was like, wait, they have 3 guys of the same position. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And I said, maybe that contributes to the fact they were 0-3 because they probably still don't remember what each other's jobs is supposed to be come game by game. So, but the point is they had to learn. Embiid still looks like he's, generally healthy now from what he's been.
Oh, look
Um,
better than the start. Yeah.
yeah, then better than the start. And honestly, like he said, the season starts now because he had said in his presser, he was like, look, Phillies are done. Everybody else can put their attention back on us. He's like, the season starts now. And I
Hmm.
agree. I feel like once they win tonight, if they better win, because there's no reason for them to lose to the Hawks. But again,
Man,
these guys were the the thorn in their side in the playoffs. So you
I mean,
just never know.
they just beat the best team in the West. I mean,
Yeah.
Phoenix
There's a lot of teams that
Suns.
are still in this weird phase too. And I'm sure it's not even just in NBA. It's football too. There's a weird portion of teams that are playing ridiculously underwhelmingly, in both the NBA and the NFL. To the point where I was watching shout out to around the NFL podcast, but they did a nice little exercise of teams from the NFL they would put a fork in and they all kind of collectively came down to like 7 teams that are just like
Wow.
they'll take one more loss and they're pretty much not going to be a topic, in the postseason. So
I mean, some teams got 5 losses already. It's like,
right. Besides the usual contenders like the Detroit, and Carolina, but there's
hmm
teams like, like the Packers and like the Bucks that are like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Whether you have
yeah,
injuries or not, you're with like 2 MVPs of the league and nobody can put it together,
yeah.
you know? Tom with his empty
Hmm.
threats and Aaron Rodgers with his fits on the sidelines. It's like nobody gives a shit anymore.
No, Tom is was it they're 2-0 since he got divorced. So
He's just happy to have a win. I get it. He walked in there and started cursing already. I said, this Tommy is like, ever since he got drunk, then when their last Super Bowl win, I said to his last Super Bowl win, I said to myself, there's another cog of Tom Brady that's starting to evolve. And I really truly think he is now starting to be tired of the A-type personality he personified. Like I think he could care less now. Like I think he's in that I just love sports. This is what I'm meant to
yeah,
do. I may be
well,
a sucky husband, I may be a sucky father, but I know how to throw a damn ball and I got 6 rings, bitch.
he also broke that. I mean, he also broke that bad guy image that people,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, we're
we
always
look
gonna hate him.
always looking at him as a villain because especially when he was tied to the Patriots because of their cheating. But you realize that wasn't him.
It
That
wasn't always
was
him, but let's be
yeah.
honest. We all know that Tommy always got this reputation of being untouchable, and he was the reason why a lot of these
Oh yeah.
stupid quarterback rules happen now because of his dumbass. But part of me knows that the hate is always going to be there because it's just impossible to win that many times if you're not the most incredible mother freaker in the in the whole freaking league. So he's still going to have hate
Mhm.
on that sense, and it's
Oh
competitive
yeah.
hate.
Yeah.
But there are also people who just think he is like God, like sliced bread, since sliced bread. And I'm the type of person I'm kind of like I respect him as a competitor, but I don't think he's I don't think he'd be a nice human as far as meeting him. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm being judgy, but on the outside, I'm like, as a woman, I'm going to be kind of sensitive to the topic of Tom Brady at this point in my life, knowing that he's the way he's done these last two public relationships. I'm just kind of like, you know
Mhm.
what? You may
Oh
not be
yeah.
the best man. You know what I mean? You may
Yeah.
be a better quarterback than a man. Anyway,
Yeah.
but long story short, even going back to the Sixers, I think at this point they can, what did I say? Squeeze out 60 wins? I was saying
Yeah.
like they could at least get 60 wins, then
Mhm.
they're a step above than what they ended last season when they were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We obviously want them to get past the second round, but I think 60 wins
I mean, 60
should
could
be
put
the
them up
bar.
top. I mean, because remember
It
what?
should be the bar.
How many people had, was it all had 53 wins? I think.
That's my point. So that's why I say like if they weren't even and considering how injured
Four-way
Joel
tie.
was. What'd you say?
Yeah.
It stopped on
It was
me.
a four-way tie too, which is
Right, and
crazy.
that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
so if that wasn't even their best and the fact that Joel was hurt so much, imagine what they could be if they still stay somewhat healthy for especially in them last, like, key weeks
Yeah.
before the postseason.
Hmm.
Because just like the Phillies tripped up, and almost got themselves booted out the postseason, the Sixers could very much well be in that situation if they don't add an extra step to staying in, because I feel like 60 is a good bar, so Imma still stick to that. Imma say 60 wins, if not a few more than last year before the regular season was over.
I mean, 55 puts them in the playoffs. I think.
Okay, so
No, I mean that's just.
lowest part 55, highest 60. I
Mhm.
feel like that's realistic, especially because if they figure out with the other guys that are on there, PJ, I forgot about PJ,
PJ
Melton, all
Tucker,
those
yeah,
people
no,
kind of go
yeah,
in and out. They'll learn the rotation. Obviously Doc ain't getting fired right now because he's locked in. But I think at this point, I think he's the least of their problems. They just have to realize when it's important to use Joel, when it's important to give him rest, and when it's
hmm
important that the rest of them pick up the pieces when he's not there, because that's pretty much going to
sure,
be how he rolls till the end of his career. So, but honestly, it's a blessing to still have some sports to talk about. I don't know
yeah,
about you, but I got motivated not only to when we were going to pod again, but I wanted to discuss also too the reality of, because we talk about sports and because we got a lot of people out there that are very passionate about some of the issues that come around sports, I would be
hmm
remiss before I end the podcast to not discuss the whole issue of players speaking out on certain things. I mean, and I'm not even going to go the Kyrie direction because it's too much.
yeah,
And but I'd rather just talk about the fact that you got a lot of guys out there who look up to rappers, and with the recent death of Takeoff from the Migos, I feel like it's important to put that message out there with black men that it's important to create a new way of, I guess, communicating, you know, how you feel about, I guess your position in like in the community and society, I think there's a different type of communication that needs to be put out there amongst young black males, older black males, a type of a newer way of showing respect because I
Hmm.
think that the messaging is what's contributing to the gun violence, not even just the obvious, whether it be pro, anti-gun,
Hmm.
from the hood, not from the hood, because I feel like the hood is subjective.
Yeah,
I just feel like, what do you feel like as a black male that needs to change? Because obviously, I'm not going to go in the preachy mode, but
yeah.
what do you feel like, especially because we all seem to be together when it comes to sports and talking about sports and most of the time music? What do you think that black males need to put out there that I don't know, just kind of kills this kind of vibe of like, you got to be better than me. I got to be better than you. I'll show you. Da, 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 da. Like, what needs to change?
Yeah, I mean, well, because hip hop, it's been this is the most deaths we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's sad because it's like they're putting, and also the image that they're putting out there of like, okay, well, I'm gonna run in the streets, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and that's a lot. They're always talking how much money I have, how much this and that, how many guns I have. Like
Right.
that's just not a. They're getting away from what made hip hop special.
Right.
You know,
The
yeah,
rap battle wasn't actually a battle back then. It just was,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly. And it's like it's sad to see like these young guys they're all around about the same thing and then end up killing each other for no reason. It's kind of just like stupid,
Yeah.
And now, I mean, like because was it before the guy from the Migos was the one guy from Philly that lived
Yeah. PNB Rock. Yeah.
in L.A. Yeah, he was killed like what a couple weeks before that,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then weeks before that was somebody else.
Right.
Like it's like now you do want to start asking the question of who's next, but it's got to be in the back of your head, like who's
Yeah.
next, and it's a shame.
What can you do less? Like, do you need to use your social media less? Do you need to not always wear your jewelry? Or does that matter? Is it really about that? Or is it just guys just need to talk to each other differently, handle each other differently?
Well, sad thing is it's what's selling right now, and that's the problem. Like that's what's selling right now. That's these guys
Mhm.
are making all this money off of putting that persona out there. They're making all the money off of that, and it's like we were talking earlier before we even got on about that whole like oh, I got this many cars, I got this, I got that. I got your girl. I'm gonna do this. It's like, where does it end? You know?
It's one thing when you're joking, but if it gets to another level where in Takeoff's position, where it just started over a dice game,
Yeah,
and some guys had a problem with Quavo or whatever, if the rumor was allegedly, because I don't know exactly, but I know it was over.
yeah,
It was
yeah. I didn't
over
hear the whole.
basically a game.
Yeah, I didn't hear the
Um,
whole story because I was like in the process of going away too, and I missed that part of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, it usually starts over something small. Is my point. And
Hmm.
even with Young Dro when he got killed early this year, he was doing a charity. He was in the middle of giving clothes out. Like he wasn't even walking around
Yeah.
flossing. He wasn't telling everybody where he was. He's just there. Nipsey wasn't with his bodyguard the day he got shot.
Yeah, he
You
was
know,
out with
he was at a store. You
he was
know what
with
I
his
mean? His
girl,
own
wasn't he?
store.
Was he with his
No, no,
girlfriend?
no. He was with his friends. He
His
was
friends? Oh, okay.
'cause Lauren didn't know at the time. Lauren wasn't with him. So
Oh,
I,
okay.
I think the whole point was the guy that came up on him earlier in the day, he felt
Hmm.
like Nipsey disrespected him. Who knows what he said to him?
And also draws a problem. Is like, okay, what happened to we're men? Okay, why can't we just talk to each other about it?
And even if he didn't want
Yeah.
to talk to you, so
Okay, then
like
you move on. Then
you
yeah,
move on. He's
like
not your
why?
favorite rapper anymore. Move
Yeah,
on.
like why do we have to immediately resort to the other option of violence that
Right.
doesn't solve anything?
And it
You
compensates
know.
for a lot of stuff. That's why I'm wondering if that's really what it is. Are we are males and not even just black guys. I'm just gonna say it right now because it's obviously a mentality in a whether you're in a poor community or in you are extremely rich and bored and
Hmm.
entitled. So we
Yeah,
have to understand that there's a general have and have
because
not mentality,
yeah. And look, I don't need to walk around and poke my chest out like show I'm a man. I don't need to do that.
Right.
Don't need to do that because it's not none of that stuff is worth it. It is not worth going out there fighting people over dumb shit. Stuff like that. It's not that we're too old for that, and then that's why black men don't live that long. get caught up
Yeah.
in that dumb shit. The average age of us is like,
Hashtag black man deserves to grow old. Yeah.
yeah, and that's it's just sad to see. Like, you know,
I just feel like if you have to be in them, if even if you're not a community type person, I think you just even have to start on even a basic level of just if someone gives you props or something, say thank you. If they hold the
hmm
door for you, say thank you. If you
yeah,
feel like some guy's cursing at you, you just talk to them in a different tone and maybe they'll chill out because they'll realize I'm not getting hyped because you're hyped, but I
yeah,
need you to calm down. You know what I mean? There's just ways to address little things that's where it starts. It's just how you conduct yourself from day to day.
hmm
And maybe that's the cure. Maybe
because
that's the messaging.
that's what they want us to do. They'd rather us be out there killing each other. Less of us, the better, right?
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm
You
not
know,
understanding. And I get it if you're from a different type of upbringing where that's not a factor, but you have to consider that you're doing these other oppressors a favor by taking
you're
each
doing
other.
their work. You're doing their work for them.
You're
Yeah,
doing their work for them. So
you
it's like,
know,
let's try to not be proactive on trying to get rid of each other and just realize that they might be the issue. You know, the ones who are actually putting you in that, or you feel that are putting you in that oppressed, angry position, get to the root of it, heal it, and move on with your
hmm
life. There are things you don't have to be equal to success. Success is not always monetary. Success can be just you woke up and you're awake, you're alive,
hmm
your legs work, you know,
hmm
you breathing better than you did before. Shout out to all those who have long COVID or experienced a bout with COVID because I'm sure
hmm
everybody's happy to still be breathing if
Oh,
they had a long bout with COVID. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
right.
those types of things are the things you need to focus on instead of worrying about why I can't afford this. I would love to go to a different country every freaking day if I could. You know, I would love to just
hmm
backpack tomorrow and be like, I'm gonna be out for a couple days. I'll be back. But again, it's just, and I get it. It's a crabs in the barrel mentality. And
hmm
that's where I feel like it needs to start. You need to somehow put out that messaging as an everyday human being and just start saying, look, I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing about homie you yourself had several passings in your family and stuff, whether it be violent or
hmm
not violent,
Yeah,
and there's
then
still
yeah.
and it still hurts. So you have to deal with that reality every day that that person didn't have to die, you know, because of somebody being reckless.
hmm
It all comes down to how you think and how you walk and how you move. And people just have to be a little bit smarter. There's ways you can use social media so that you don't have to be out there all the time. You know, I'd rather you just have an account just full of memes and give some good advice like Biggs Burks does, Mal from Rory and Mal, his brother. He just
yeah,
puts a whole bunch of sayings out there because it's just if I'm gonna use social media, I'd rather help people instead of
yeah.
flossing and showing off stuff that don't matter,
Or
you
having
know?
grudges. I mean, life's too short when we're having grudges with people over dumb shit. You know.
And if that doesn't make more sense after 2020 that life is too short, I don't know what else you paying attention to, Jack, because
Yeah.
literally we are out here, people are dying left and right. Like it's not even a
hmm
joke anymore.
No, it's
So
not.
I just wanted to put that out there just because I figured it's you being a black man, you know. So I think it's just one of those situations where it's like sports is definitely one of the reasons why I get into it so heavy now because I'd rather be excited for something that is a like-minded love than
hmm
stressing out here because every time Dick and Harry got more than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just saying take one day at a time. That's
Yeah.
all.
You can't worry about them. You worry about yourself.
I mean, God didn't give you a life to worry about everybody.
At the end of the
He
day, you're
gave you one
accountable
life.
for what you do and the decisions that you make. And there's nothing that person is not gonna think about you after that.
None of these celebrities are out here worrying about you, so don't worry
Yeah.
about them.
So
If you mad about them to the point where you can't be in the same space with them, just get up and leave.
yeah.
It shouldn't be that serious to come back and actually fire a gun and kill somebody because you
All
mad.
right. Stop supporting them then. If you don't like it, stop
Don't
supporting
buy the records. Don't watch
them.
their
Yeah.
out. No, that's all you got to do.
yeah.
You ain't got to put any extra energy out there. You just give them more attention.
hmm
Anyway, Ed. So, all right. So tonight we got the Sixers. The Flyers are doing pretty good lately, I think too. Um,
I think they
what
have
did
the
we
night. They
donate
should
the
have the night
Flyers?
off tonight, though. They should
Yeah, they
anyway.
do. Yeah, because they played last night. I was
Yeah.
thinking to myself. I said, look, shout out to the fact that some of these teams sometimes do come out in the end, diamonds in the rough. So if the Flyers end up coming back and teasing like they did before they got shut down in 2020 when they were this close to the Stanley Cup,
oh yeah.
anything can happen with our teams, especially if we stay the course. If you're a true fan of whether it be you're just a Flyers fan or you 4 for 4 or 5 for 5, technically, shout out to the Union,
Hmm.
then you support them no matter the ups and downs. It gets depressing, trust me.
Yep.
But that's why I'm glad the seasons overlap because when I get sick of one team, you got somebody else to jump on. So enjoy it. And then also
Yeah.
support WNBA. Shout out to the girls who play because college hoops are starting. Support the girls too because they out there killing themselves. I mean, they playing their hearts out. They're trying to
Oh
get that
man,
mass publication out there so that people watch their games because I enjoyed the WNBA final this year.
we need to get.
So
We need a Philly team again.
we need a Philly team. What did you say they used to be called? Philly Rage. We need to bring back a Philly. I was saying Philly Felines, but I think that's another team. But we need something sexy and we need something that shows that there are some girls out here who can probably ball that we have no idea about, whether they be from the tri-state area or not. We
Hmm.
know we got some ballers out here because
Oh yeah, they're out. They're out there.
everybody wants to be a female version of Kyrie, KD, Steph Curry. You never know. So just don't sleep on the girls. Anyway, that's my little message. But Eddie, got any last thoughts before we shut down?
Nah, I think I'm glad I had a chance to actually talk today. You know, it's been
Yes, yes. Glad we got back healthy from our outings, safe and
yeah,
sound.
right.
I'm ready to be an old person and literally go to sleep, and it's not even 8 o'clock. This is really boring. Shut up! I'm 44. Leave me alone.
Hey, is what it is.
Anyway, but all right. So we're just gonna hold on till this weekend. You enjoy the rest of the week. Like I said, all those who did vote last night, I'm glad you did. But these are really our boys right here, Hertz and Brown. Fly
Yeah,
Eagles fly. Go
like
Sixers. Go
come
Flyers.
on, Georgia in December.
Yeah.
Let's not put crazy as Herschel Walker in the Senate, please.
Shout out to Van Lathan Jr., who just literally called him the notorious CTE. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
hear
gonna go.
that.
Oh, you got listen to the latest higher learning pod. That was his nickname for Herschel
I didn't
Walker.
hear what Van said about him.
He called him the notorious CTE. And
Guy's
I'm
out of his
done.
mind. He's out of his mind. He's crazy.
Done. That's how you know this is how politics really work, and I get it now. Some of these people don't have to be talented. It's no different from the entertainment world. Some of these people are just famous just because someone got some money in their pocket. That's
Just
it.
start spewing nonsense. You
Start
know, like,
spewing nonsense. And please do me a favor too, Eddie, and go check out around the NFL latest pod because when they played a clip of Jim Irsay and what he started talking about, I wanted to be like, yo, cut his mic off.
oh,
Cut his mic off. This is why I feel like Carson
uh,
Wentz somewhere is laughing, going, I didn't want to be with your corny organization either.
that's why I want to be there, right?
I didn't want to be there. That's okay. Maybe man, he's probably sitting there going, like, God does everything for me. So he probably thought maybe that wasn't a team for me. That's okay.
Yeah, and his boy Frank Wright is
And now
jobless now.
Frank's on the unemployment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor guy. Anyway, he needs to go over to Carolina because they probably really need some real coaching.
they need some help.
Good the freaking luck, because I mean now they probably gonna put in Darnold this week at this point. They desperate. But
Ooh,
anyway.
yeah.
All right, Eddie.
All
CoEd
right.
edition. It was good to talk to you.
Love you too.
Peace out, pod people. Fly Eagles fly.
Flag
We'll
is
be
flying.
back soon. Holla.